If you haven't seen the Gloria Swanson Sunset Boulevard as directed by Billy Wilder in 1950, then what are you doing, you fools? Stop watching his video and go and watch that movie.
And you managed to have a hot dog. We're all happy to see that Sydney Sweeney too eats hot dogs.
Oh my God.
Help me!
Ladies and gentlemen, just like Joe Walsh, I'm your analog man in a digital age. And on the 30th of October, if you weren't aware of this, because keeping up with the diary of Sydney Sweeney is like looking for the Scarlet Pimpernel. You see her there, you see her everywhere. Now, in case you weren't aware, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Sweeney is an ambassador for women's crisis centers in America. Women who suffer from mental and physical abuse from other people, shall we say. I think it's a very worthwhile thing, which is why we saw her at this event for Variety a day before Halloween. Now, you might be thinking, Kung Fu, why are you making another video about Sydney Sweeney yet again? And yeah, that's going to become a playlist very, very shortly on my channel. Well, first of all, she looked amazing, sporting a brand new bobbed haircut and an even equally bobbed dress that supported her bobs in full glory. Now, even though she was fully covered up, I mean, you can see what that dress was intended to do. And I feel sometimes when I see Sweeney on these very important events, you can tell she feels a little bit self-conscious, but I think it's more to do with the fact that in the back of her mind, she's probably wondering how people are getting a meltdown about her under the spotlight being Miss Goody Two-Shoes and proving the critics wrong yet again. Now, if you haven't seen this article from thatparkplace.com, it's very interesting because now the most cynical people online on Earth, because we know this is not from outer space. Now, of course, the usual suspects are coming out from under their rocks where they always return to afterwards to accuse Miss Sweeney of having undergone plastic surgery. And what metric do you think they're weighing this up by? Well, you got it, and I find this part very disturbing. Her childhood photos from when she was 12 years of age until a fully grown adult. So in other words, when you're 12 and when you're 24, that's a bit of a difference in terms of physical transformation, right? Well, of course it is, but along the way, they're now implying, they being the jealous people out there, that Sydney Sweeney has undergone some kind of minor plastic surgery procedures over the years. Oh, give me a break. Erin Moriarty, remember her from The Boys in season 1? And then after season 2, she suddenly transformed into something very, very strange. Now, in the case of Miss Moriarty, I do suspect that she might have suffered some sort of mental abuse on not The Boys necessarily, but maybe going to auditions, that she might have encountered another Jeffrey Epstein type of predator who tried it on with her, and maybe as an extreme reaction she changed her face.
Her name is Erin Moriarty, and she's 29 years old, and she's a beautiful actress, but she's decided to completely change her face.
Now, going back to this event on Thursday, hosted by, of course, Variety magazine, Extra TV were there along with one of their correspondents, Ms. Terry Seymour. She's the ex of Simon Cowell, don't you know? And if you don't know who Ms. Seymour is, she's got a very unique, horsey kind of voice, but I guess that makes her very endearing to her viewers. So she was going back and forth with Sydney Sweeney on the red carpet, admiring her boobs, the dress, and the whole 9 yards.
I realised when you walked off the other night, I was like, I didn't ask her about her new hairdo. I love it.
And then the topic of James Bond came up. Now, when I saw a brief glimpse of this online, people were saying, oh my God, Sydney Sweeney wants to be the first female James Bond ever. And I thought, come on, Sydney. Up to this point, I've really become a big fan of yours. why on earth are you now going to spoil it by coming out with something like that? Now, I'm going to play you the quick clip here, and then we'll see if my respect for her has gone down or if it's gone up.
Would you find that really empowering to be the first female James Bond?
I'd want a whole different story. I mean, James Bond is iconic. I don't want to mess up with what everybody like praises and loves. I always feel like it should stay James Bond, but if there's something else for me that's along the lines of that, maybe. I don't know.
Whew, wow. Sydney has said it like it is. Leave Bond alone. But if something else came along the way that's similar, I might take it up. I mean, look, we had Charlize Theron as Atomic Blonde. So-so kind of movie. Then we had Ana de Armas as Ballerina this year, which again, I like the film, but I get why people were in two minds about it. Sydney Sweeney could be there to do something that might be better than those previous efforts. I don't know. I mean, the makers of the John Wick franchise now team up with Sydney Sweeney. It sounds like a match made in heaven, but who knows? But I think where Sydney might be going with that, because again, she's wondering where all these lines of questioning are now coming from regarding her possible role as a Bond girl in Denis Villeneuve's new, as of yet untitled Bond film. Now, I think she knows more than what she's letting on. She might end up becoming a secret 00 agent with the unknown 007, because at this stage, folks, we don't know who they're going to cast. So it remains to be seen what will actually become if she is confirmed, by the way, to be in the Bond film. Personally, I would like to see Miss Sweeney as Black Cat in a future Sony Spider-Man universe adventure film. It may happen, it may not, but who knows? But again, all these people who are jealous of Sydney Sweeney's year, I mean, what an incredible year she's had. American Eagle Outfitters. Now, I've heard of the brand, but many people reliably have said to me, dude, it's a really shit brand. They probably themselves know they are a crap brand, but you get $1 million star like Sydney Sweeney, who suddenly makes your shares go all the way up. I mean, that is genius marketing, right? And I have to applaud Sydney Sweeney for getting herself involved like that, because she knows damn well that compared to what she normally does, going on these red press events or the red carpet events, looking $1 million in Christian Dior and Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana.
Who is this dress by?
You, Christian Cohen.
Gorgeous.
That at home, she's the usual girl who at 24 likes to eat pizzas, hot dogs, and basically anything else you throw at her face, because she's still blessed, as she always acknowledges, with a pretty amazing metabolism. And I can't even pat the girl on her bum cheeks more than enough times to congratulate her on being normal and down to earth. Sweeney vows she will age gracefully, or in my case, disgracefully. Because, ladies and gentlemen, men like to go to bed with the fantasy, only to wake up to reality. Exhibit A, Your Honor, Miss Erin Moriarty. But ladies and gentlemen, were you expecting this analogued fool to come out with the video today, white knighting for Sydney Sweeney? Well, you shouldn't be surprised at all, should you? And on that one, if you were me and if I were you and my genie Sydney Sweeney right here, we'll both catch you catching us for the return of the next video.
Rolling down to Dallas, my blues provide my palace. Off to New Orleans or who knows where. Places new and ladies too. I'm BJ McKay and this is my best friend Dan.